Welcome. It's now 12 o'clock noon on Tuesday, January 7th, 2022. And you're in case, can you hear me now? Thank you. Okay. In case you wonder where you are, you're at the Oath of Office ceremony. Welcome. I'm Diane Turner. I'm currently council chair and also about to be sworn in again. So anyway, we really appreciate your being here. And are we good? Are we good? Okay. Anyway, we have a couple of special guests. We have Amy Winder Newton from Salt Lake County. Amy? Oh, there she is out there. Welcome, Amy. Glad you're here. And Jennifer Covington, who is our Murray School District Superintendent. Jennifer, you're out there as well? Jennifer Covington. There she is. Anyway, welcome. I really appreciate everybody being here. Wow, what a wonderful number of people. So we'll start with the opening ceremonies and the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance from the Murray City Fire and Police, and the national anthem by the Murray High School Madrigals. So let's start with the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color guard, attention, forward, march. Would the audience please arise? Detail, halt, left, face, present, colors. The audience, please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance after me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, colors, post, colors. Audience may be seated. Detail, left, face, forward, march.
And now the national anthem by the Murray High School Madrigals.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
That was beautiful. Thank you. It gave me chills. You guys, thank you so much for being here and having such beautiful voices. Okay, we'll take a pause so we can add more chairs to the front and we can seat more people. I can't wait till our new city building will be finished, and then we'll have room for everyone. So. Thank you. Also, just being seated is our outgoing mayor. Welcome, Mayor, and his wife, Paula. Welcome. And now is the time for the oath of office, which will be administered by Jennifer Kennedy, the Murray City Recorder. Okay, yeah. After each new council member may take their seat on the dais after their remarks. Jennifer.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Brett Allen Hales,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support, obey, and defend
to support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and to perform the duties of my office
and perform the duties of my office
as Murray City Mayor
as Murray City Mayor
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Brett. My goodness, I need glasses. Wow.
Keep that one. You can keep the other one.
Okay. Better keep them both right now or I'll lose them. Well, thank you. This is an honor for me, and I'm most grateful for, I am grateful for the citizens of this great city, Murray, and for all those, the employees and just all those that have been involved that have helped with this, the campaign. Especially my wife, Cindy. I would never, ever be here if it wasn't for Cindy. About 20 years ago, I was in a wheelchair. I spent a couple of years in a wheelchair due to my multiple sclerosis and was on a feeding tube for some of that time. And I never, ever even could picture this day in a million years. I never thought this could happen. And so it's with much and deep humility that that I accept this responsibility, and I'm excited. Lots of friends out there that have come, and our children. In fact, if I could ask for my family and all my family, brothers and sisters, kids that are all here, will you please stand so that everyone can see, and then I can remember your names. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Look who stands. City stood so fast that. So this is, what's that? Yeah, brothers. Yeah, In-laws. I don't count you as in-laws. I count you as brothers and sisters. Anyway, so these are all families. Some of Cindy's families, my family, and our children right over here. Some and grandkids that are waving at me right there. Hi, Cooper. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. So didn't you just get back from a place called Pasadena? Was there an old lady down there, or was there a football game? It was a great football game, and so did you. Huh? I think there are a lot of you in here that came back from Pasadena. But what a honor to the Utes for that. Anyway, what a privilege it is for me to be here, and like I said, I look out into this crowd and see lots of friends and family that supported me all the way, and I'm just really appreciative. Cindy and I met 40-something years ago in Alaska as we were serving our LDS missions. You're always told keep arm's length, and she didn't, so I didn't know what to do because she wanted to be closer to me, but I felt like it was my duty to accept that, so I have accepted that. Look at her, she's looking at me like, no way on earth. If you know anything about Cindy, she is very strict on guidelines and things like that. In fact, she's a little over too strict, but anyway, she's a great partner. We're going on our 40 years, and it's been a blast. Anyone that knows me knows that I like to have fun. I know there's a lot of work to do. You work hard, you work smart, and you play hard. So I am really looking forward to all of the above. And then I'd like to recognize the administration some are staying on and some one's new. But Doug Hill, are you here? Where are you, Doug? Doug Hill back there. We have the same hairline. And and then Kathy is next to Doug. And Kathy, what is your title? Administrative assistant? Okay, Doug, what is yours? Like the real mayor? What you're the gopher guy. Okay. Anyway, and then and that's all that's upstairs. And then we have Tammy Cacucci, who I happened to come across Tammy. Cindy and I did. Someone at Sherry Van Bibber had said you should put a sign up on Brett Hales's or on your lawn for Brett Hales, and so she called me and asked, and I didn't know Tammy, and we met and talked. Cindy and I talked to Cal, her and her husband Cal, for about an hour and a half, and the rest is history. So Tammy will be our PIO, so our PR person, and I can't think of anyone better who knows PR than someone who has been with the news media and been with a lot of organizations over the years. So Tammy, welcome. In fact, I'd like to give a welcome to Tammy. She thinks she's going to make a Utah fan out of this BYU fan, and she kind of already has a little bit. I've like Cindy and I have always been big on whatever football team in Utah's playing, we're supporting them. So anyway, thank you. This is a great day and for me and my family, and we hope that we'll be able to give back to the city that has always given to us. That's the whole purpose that Cindy and I decided to run in the first place 10 years ago for city council. Is I remember people saying to me, it's hard when you're with social media, because do you know social media can get a little mean sometimes? Does that surprise anybody? They can get a little ugly, and thank goodness I have some good friends that stood up for me on a lot of those things. But Cindy and I 10 years ago thought, you know what, let's run. And I remember state senators asking me, well, what's your platform? What are you running for? And I remember thinking, you're so dumb, Brett. You can't run for city council. You don't have a platform. Well, the more I ran on no platform, the better I did. Because I just told people, Mike Squires was my campaign manager, and he asked me, he called me up and says, can I be your campaign manager? I said, what does that mean? And he says, I'd just like to be your campaign manager. And I said, well, what does that consist of? That sounded like me running for student body president. And with my buddy Mickey Sudbury, but he kind of said, well, that's kind of what it is. I do think I can help you with your campaign. And I said, awesome. Oh my goodness, Mike Squires wore me out, and he wore my family out too. And it was, these kids would see Mike coming and they go, "Here comes Mike," and it was like midnight, and Mike was just dedicated to make sure that I was going to win that first time running on the City Council, District 5. But so my platform is just, honestly, I don't have a platform. If I had a platform, it's just to work hard and give back to the citizens of Murray, who have given so much to Cindy and I and our family. We've raised our family here, been here almost 34 years, and it's been a blessing to live in Murray City, and a lot of you feel that way. And so we wanted to give back, and little did I know, I remember talking to Blair, and Blair looking at me and say, "Why do you want to do this?" And I should have looked back at him and said, "Well, why did you want to do it?" But I wasn't quick enough. And hopefully in 4 years, you and I will be able to talk about why I wanted to do this. But and I wanted to give thanks to Blair, and also Paula, who his wife, who has been a major support for him, and to all the council members. Diane has been a good friend, Rosalba, Kat, and even that big guy back there, Dale, who's got his head bowed. I think he's asleep, but anyway, but he's been a great source of help. And so just to Dale always says, all the men and women that work for Murray City, when you see little complaints about this and that, we're darn lucky. Murray City, it'd be neat if we had a lineup for a city council meeting one time, and if you're going to have a complaint, which is okay, it'd be cool to follow up with something like, and I do see some people do this, with how great Murray is. I saw somebody put on the citizen comments the other day, they said, "Wasn't it wonderful to have our streets cleaned with the snow cleaned before we got up?" Guess what? That doesn't happen everywhere. It doesn't happen sometimes to cities that surround us. We're darn lucky to have who we have. So rather than complaining, maybe let's be happy. That's going to be my goal. Is if we're going to be a happy city, and we are a happy city, but we've got a lot going here in Murray City. We have a lot going, and we're a blessed city. And there is no reason that we need to be negative all the time. And that is going to be my goal, is to make sure I don't become negative and stay positive. And that when we talk to each other, we might have, Kat brought that up the other day. She said we have different opinions, but we like each other. We're good friends. We are honestly good friends. We have different viewpoints, but we are good friends, and that's the way it should be. I mentioned this in our last meeting, that when Ted Iyer was in, I voted against him, and he really wanted me to vote for something. And then after I voted against him, our wives were already at the concert hall, the USANA Amphitheater, watching. They were there for Boston and the Doobie Brothers, and Ted and I jumped in the car and met him there. And I remember on the way there, I was feeling bad that I'd voted against something that Ted wanted. And he looked at me and he goes, "Why would you feel bad about that? That's what you felt you should do." And he goes, "And I respect you for that." And in fact, he even said, "I love you even more for that, Brett." And so I think that's the way it should be. And that's what I'm hoping that I can do as your mayor. So thank you for your support. This will be a fun ride. I am looking forward to enjoying this and having fun. And again, thanks for everyone's support today. Thank you.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Utah. And to perform the duties of my office. As Murray City Council Member. Representing District 2. With the
official. Dale, I'm official. I think I'm going to be the baller. Mayor Hales, city council members, staff, department heads, city employees, friends, and family. Thank you for allowing me this time to say a few words. I would like you all to meet my campaign team. My daughter Lisa, her husband Chris, our daughter Laura, and my husband Bill. I would never have been able to do this if it wasn't for his "you've got this" attitude. I know this isn't what he was thinking his retirement years would look like, but thank you for all the walks and knocking on the doors. I would also like to thank my friends that were volunteered to help with my campaign. You know, I've been wearing this badge for quite a while. It's been a privilege and an honor to have worked in the schools these past 30 years. Now it's time to retire it and start a new adventure with this nameplate. This adventure all started in 2017 when a certain person, I won't mention any names, came to our door and said, "Here, fill this out, take it to the city hall." And I had this look on my face, what? So I filled it out, the form, and a few weeks later, I was in front of the council member answering questions. One question that was asked of me was, "What do you know about being a city council member?" My reply back was, "What did you know about being on the city council?" Well, I don't know if it was that answer or a combination of others, but I was on the council seat for 2.5 months. I have found that the biggest part of being on the city council is service. Service to our citizens, our local businesses, and our nonprofit organizations, by making sure we take care of them and their tax dollars. As I campaigned throughout District 2, we had many opportunities of doing small acts of service. Some of these service acts were replacing a cotter pin on a garbage can wheel, replacing a broken handle on a garbage can because a 90-year-old lady can't lift it, so she likes the handle and it was broken. Helping pick vegetables in a garden and picking up branches after the windstorm. But the best part was just talking and listening to the citizens that have lived here for many years, talking about their love for Murray, their children, and where they are now and what they are doing. I'm finding that these kids I got to know while working in the schools are now living in my district and are buying houses and raising their children here. That says a lot about Murray. We have an incredible city. We have our own school district, our own power and water departments, and low property taxes. Our police and fire departments are amazing, and we have the best parks. Now, I know I'm not going to make every resident happy in District 2, but I will listen. I will do my best to make sure their voices are heard. I will try my best to let them know why things are happening, why things have to change sometimes. I want to build a workable relationship between the citizens and the city. That is my goal. While serving as your council member, hearing, serving, and getting citizens more involved with the government of Murray. Now, I would like to give a special thank you to Councilmember Cox. You know, you took a big risk on someone that didn't think like you. But I think that is what I've learned from you, that you and I can have different opinions and still treat each other with respect and still go out for dinner Wednesday. Thank you for encouraging me to get involved. And thank you, District 2, for coming out and voting for me. You have put your faith in me, and I will always do my very best for you, as I did while I worked in the schools. Thank you.
Would you come in and just say hello? Thank you so much for being here. All right, we'll continue.
Do solemnly swear. To support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Utah. And to perform the duties of my office. As Murray City Council Member. Representing District 4. With fidelity.
Do you want me to sign it now? All right. This is the third time I've done this. Hard to believe. Oh my goodness, time flies. It's crazy. Thank you. Well, this campaign was very enlightening. Had Darren Rasmussen not challenged me, I would probably not have canvassed my entire district and reconnected with my constituents and met so many new friends. It was very affirming to find that most of the people of District 4 appreciate the work that I have done on their behalf for the past 8 years. As GL, our city attorney often says, the process works if you let it. My deepest and most sincere appreciation goes to many. My friends Donetta, Joan, Sherry Bird, and Marie, the wonderful women who helped me walk and canvass the neighborhoods of District 4. Their support was unwavering. Friends and family who provided monetary and emotional support, thank you. Jace and Pike, my grandsons, would you stand? My most fervent supporters, always willing to help Pop place signs. I am so very blessed. My son, Justin, would you please stand? Daughter-in-law, Melissa, and grandson, Asa. They're here from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for your love and support. You guys are awesome. Oh my goodness. my sister Deborah, who lives in Oregon and came to spend the month of September organizing and supporting me in so many ways. She is amazing. Alejandro and Shawnee for their incredible campaign communication skills. In fact, Alejandro was just sworn in yesterday to Salt Lake City Council. He's quite the guy. The wonderful community that is Village 3 and the voters of District 4. And finally, Charles. You saw him already. He's such a handsome guy. He's my partner, my husband, and much to his chagrin, my sounding board. Thank you for your love and support. Without you by my side, the journey would be hollow. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years working for the citizens and the city that I love. It will be very interesting and it's always rewarding. Thank you. I said I wasn't going to cry. Sorry about that. Okay, now we are so fortunate to have for our comments for our speaker, Carol Spacman Moss. She has served in the Utah House of Representatives since January 1st, 2001, and has spent the last 20 years working tirelessly on issues that affect our community. She has passed bills that deal with homeowner and condominium associations and anti-bullying and hazing. Carol also spends time working on issues such as education, the opioid epidemic, and clean air. She's an amazing woman. Carol has received numerous awards, such as the Business Champion Award from the Salt Lake City Chamber of Commerce, the Legislative Advocate for Children Award from the Utah PTA, and in 2020, the Adult Education Legislator of the Year from the Adult Education Association of Utah. It's my pleasure to welcome Representative and my friend, Carol Spacman Moss.
I'm going to put my timer on my phone because I have planned 10 minutes and I really want to stick to that because I know you all have places to go. Thank you very much, Diane, for those kind words. And I'm really honored to be here today. And I want to say congratulations, Mayor Brett Hales and Councilwoman Pam Cotter, you didn't know, and newly re-elected Diane Turner. And greetings to Councilmember Rosalba, and I don't see Kat. There's Kat behind the mask. And to all of you Murray City employees, you're wonderful, you do a great job, and you honor this city by your presence. I'm going to read some of this because if not, if anyone knows me, I might get sidetracked and tell too many anecdotes. So anyway, this is really an honor for me to speak at this memorable occasion. And besides being memorable for the three of you, it is Utah's 126th birthday today, when Utah finally obtained statehood and became the 45th star on our nation's flag. And additionally, yesterday was Murray City's 119th birthday. It was incorporated on January 3rd, 1903. And this was in the same information today. It has a population of 49,102. And I also want to make a special shout out to outgoing Mayor Blair Camp and his wife Paula, and to former Mayor Dan Snar and his wife April. Dan, whom I call cousin because he is, is very special to me. And if not for his sister, Tricia Snar Beck, I wouldn't be here because she was in the legislature. Back in 2000, she called me and said, "You need to run for the legislature." See, you hear a familiar refrain. So today I want to focus on public service, the importance of it, and just commend you all for taking the challenge of running for office. The voters have put their trust in you, and as you begin your term, I want to offer just a few words of advice and encouragement. But first, I do want to mention that I salute all the family members who've helped folks along the way. I am a little sad today because I'm thinking of my late husband, Bob, who helped me through 11 campaigns, 11. He was my sign guy. I didn't let him go door to door. He was very personable, but he would talk about things like, "Oh, how do you get those roses to do so well?" Or, and then it would be a big, long conversation. So I just say, "Why don't you just stick to signs?" But he was the one that I could say, "Do I look okay?" He'd take a photo of me speaking. He went to endless events, and the rest of my family have daughters and grandkids and many, many wonderful people and volunteers who've helped me. But first, I just want to share with you my personal connection to this great city and some accolades for this city. It's been a great honor for me to represent a big part of Murray. 10 years ago, in the last redistricting, District 37 became half of it Holiday and half of it Murray. And I couldn't have been more excited because Murray's the home of my ancestors. My great-grandfather, Daniel Hanmer Snar Sr., was an early settler in Murray and had a large farm near the Jordan River. That's where I first saw cows being milked. My grandfather, Newell Snar, who lived in Ogden, would bring me down here as a young girl. He and his first wife, Alice, had 10 children, and his second wife, Phoebus, was the mother of 9, including my grandfather, Newell Snar, and Dan's father, Alma Snar. Don't ask me if they were married at the same time, because I can't talk about things legal or illegal. After I was married, we bought our first home in Murray on Anderson Avenue, and our oldest two went to Viewmont Elementary until the 4th grade, until we moved to Holiday. And the only reason we moved, folks, because I wanted to say, I don't know anybody who ever said, "I want to get out of Murray." But I taught at Olympus High. I got a job there, and I needed to be closer to my work. So 33 wonderful years at Olympus High, and I still live in Holiday, but I talk about Murray a lot. As I said, I can't recall anyone ever saying they wanted to move from Murray. In fact, when I've campaigned in Murray, many people have told me, "Oh, we rented a house for 3 years in this area, waiting for a house to open up in such and such a neighborhood." And now it's very hard to buy a house in Murray, even to find one that's available, much less affordable. And that's nice, but it's also a little bit sad. But the other reason I'm so proud of Murray is I love to boast about it because on Capitol Hill, Murray is the envy of cities throughout Utah. Known as the hub of Salt Lake County, its location, which included a lot of large dairy farms, those streets like Holstein and those names I couldn't pronounce when I was walking, those cow names. Many of them located along Big and Little Cottonwood Creeks now has beautiful suburban neighborhoods from the Jordan River to the east, all having spectacular views of the Wasatch Mountains. Easy access to freeways, a business corridor along State Street from Fashion Place Mall, Costco, and Auto Row, the tax base from businesses both large and small, helps keep taxes low for these residents of Murray and pays for our infrastructure. The executive director of the League of Utah Cities and Towns, Cameron Deal, born and raised here, often points to Murray as an example of an exceptionally well-run city, one which exemplifies outstanding services, safe neighborhoods, great schools, and an excellent economy. And I don't need to tell you, Murray stands out for its autonomy, its own power company, fire and police departments, school district, water, library, parks and recreation departments. And by the way, yesterday I bought a year membership to the Park Center Rec Center. And I saw Charles there yesterday. And a premier medical facility, Intermountain Medical Center. Now, what's that term I've heard to describe Murray? Oh, the Independent Republic of Murray. Sure you've heard that. Now, you, Mayor Hales, and your council have the job of deciding how those taxes are spent. Because the fact is, managing a budget is the primary purpose of city government. Actually, is the primary purpose of state government. People think it's all about passing laws, but it's really deciding how to spend the taxpayers' money and how to do it effectively. While the state grants broad powers and authority to municipalities to exercise its own affairs, in fact, is a mantra at the Utah legislature, local control. I see Mike Maurer at the governor's office nodding. Unless, of course, the locals don't control things the way the state likes, then they pass laws to curb your power. But besides studying the budget, determining infrastructure needs, public safety, sanitation, and more, the job of an elected official at any level is to listen to their constituents. Listening doesn't mean you always agree, but with civil dialogue, you can at least consider another's point of view and try to find a compromise. And I don't want to belabor this, but I look around this room and see all these people who care about Murray and those who've been elected to these positions. And I hope that this city government, like all others, and school boards can resist that, what we've seen in other places in the country and right here in Salt Lake County, to have angry people shouting and disrupting meetings. That is not the way we ever expected the United States of America and democracy to work. So civility should be key, that's for sure. And another important responsibility of an elected official is to be a connector. And one of my neighbors said that once, and that I was a connector. And when you think about it, that's the means that you have to direct people to someone who can solve their problem. I can't know all my constituents' concerns, the answers to their concerns, and you can't know all your residents' answer to their concerns, but you can usually find someone in city departments who can. One of the benefits of a title is you can call a department director or the police or fire chief and they'll take your call. Right, Doug Hill? He always takes my call. And that's why elected officials need to get acquainted with the heads of all the departments and learn about the services they provide. So connecting people is one of the best ways I serve my constituents, because the average citizen has to start at the bottom and work their way up through the bureaucracy, which can often be daunting. But I can call the head of the DMV and he answers my call. I've got his cell phone and he solves problems for my constituents. Or the head of DOPL or the director of the Department of Commerce, who was one of my AP English students, so she better answer. Or the lieutenant governor, I can call and ask her about elections. And I've developed relationships with all these people and I trust them to give me informed answers and honest advice. See, unlike congressional people, they have a staff that does constituent service. So, and they're usually very good. And my congressman, in fact, they're almost always good. They answer questions. My congressman, John Curtis, takes my calls. I have his cell phone. You know why? Because his wife is my cousin, Sue Snar, Danny's sister. So, it's all about who you know, right? And here in Utah, everybody's related. So, the expression is not who you know, but not what you know, but who you know. And that can be very effective if it's used appropriately. You represent the people who voted for you, but you also represent those who didn't and those who didn't even vote at all. That's the purpose of representative democracy. And as city council members, your job is to listen, to respond, to be present, and try to keep your constituents informed. And it's true that sometimes we fall short, but it's important to keep trying. And other than a college intern during the legislative session, legislators are our own constituent services. And I don't know about you, but do you have personal assistants? Yes. Well, same there. Our caucus has constituent services people, and we have wonderful staff at the legislature of attorneys and fiscal analysts, but we don't have personal staff because sometimes people say, oh, if you can't come, would you send someone from your staff? And I think, well, who would that be? But to get better access, residents should try to meet their council person, right? And their mayor, and attend city council meetings. My friend Senator Reeby attends a lot of she represents about 4 or 5 cities. She attends many of them more than I do. And there she is. She's always dismayed by how few people actually come, unless it affects them personally. But elected officials should offer opportunities to get acquainted through town halls and city activities. So finally, what is the value of public service? It can be stimulating, satisfying, and gratifying. It can also be difficult and stressful. People say really mean things, don't they, Senator Reeby? Sometimes. And I think that I was well prepared for that, and to have people disagree and not to know not everyone will like me, because 33 years in classrooms with teenagers will help you develop a thick skin. But more than anything, it's a chance to produce results and solve problems for people who trust you to be their voice and their champion. It's not only getting things done, but sometimes it's about stopping bad things, right? So what can you learn when you run for office? You realize you're more resilient than you thought. You can take rejection. You can listen and learn from criticism. And if you're resilient, you're less afraid to take new risks that help you realize your potential and make a positive impact on your community. You have the power to inspire others with positive messages. Most people today, and always have been, looking for hope and the courage to make needed change. And then there's the value of loyal friends and allies. I'll always remember the volunteers in my campaigns who walked neighborhoods with me and gave generously of their time. Many whom I didn't know at the beginning when they offered to help, and now they're some of my closest friends. They believed in me and what I stand for. Finally, believe in yourself, and always remember why you ran for office. Maybe you heard someone say, somebody ought to do something about, so pick the potholes, the lack of lighting, taxes. Or in my case, it was to have better representation for public education. And you had the brilliant idea that maybe you could be that person. And now you are. And I wish you great success. The work begins tonight, right? At your first council meeting of the year. So I thank you for inviting me, and I thank all of you for coming today to welcome these fine people. And I wish you a happy, healthy, prosperous new year.
In case you are wondering what this orange bag is, This is for you. So I use it and enjoy it. They're really cool, and people always come up and say, "Wow, where'd you get that bag?" So
The one thing I'd love to have, and that's a Murray kid. When I was looking for my pins,
Jennifer will get you one. Anyway, thank you, and thank you so much for your service. You're wonderful. All right, here we are at the end. I also missed a couple of people that I noticed while I was just sitting. I forgot to mention Representative Andrew Stoddard. Representative Stoddard, thank you for your service. I mean, we see him around here all the time, so he just... And also Mike Maurer from Governor Cox's office. Mike, where are you? There you are. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And how could I ever forget our former Mayor Snar? Thank you for being here. Also, and
Diane, we have, House Representative Galen Benyon also in the back.
oh, great. Welcome. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Go ahead.
Also,
Thank you all for being
Diane,
here.
we also have Reed Demand, the county surveyor, right there. Right next to my daughter in the purple.
Ah. Well, welcome. Anyway. Oh,
Representative.
all right, Snellgrove, where are you? There you are.
Sorry.
How could I miss you? My goodness. Anyway, thanks you guys. Thank you all for being here. And we have a light luncheon that's been prepared and is available in the foyer. So again, thank you all for being here.